Hello, my dear students. Hope you guys are all doing good. Hope you guys are all perfectly fine. I do wish and hope that you guys are giving your exams in a great way, and I wish all the success for you in the examination. And finally, I'm going to release this video in which I'm going to talk about the preparation strategy for that 1.5 day of time which is available on the day before auditing examination. You guys have been asking me for this video. I have been receiving your messages on the Telegram, WhatsApp, or even on the YouTube comments section. So finally, I'm doing this video where I will give you all the instructions which you are required to follow, which areas to focus more, which chapters to concentrate more, the order which you have to follow in the preparation so that you can reap the maximum benefit in this 1.5 days of time. See, this 1.5 days of time is very, very crucial now. Till now, you have done preparation, but if you are unable to revise all that content properly on the day before auditing examination, then you might face trouble in the examination. So I don't want that to happen with any of the student. So that's why I'm doing this video where I will give you all the instructions required. So please follow these instructions and reap the maximum benefits out of this 1.5 day. Clear, everybody? So without doing much delay, I know your time is going to be very, very valuable. I don't want to waste your time and energy. So I will directly come to the point. I'm going to tell you the preparation strategy. So how you are required to utilize this 1.5 days of time properly so that you can reap the maximum benefits. So that's been the objective of this entire video. So no more delay. So let me directly come to the topic. So now if you see here, I have divided the chapters into 3 categories. Whatever chapters that are there in our syllabus, that I have divided into 3 categories. Those chapters which are top priority, which are going to be top priority, compulsorily you have to prepare for these chapters which are falling under this top priority category. So once you are done with that top priority, the next priority chapters also have identified. So whatever doesn't fall under that top priority and next priority, they are all falling under others category. Okay, so I am going to divide the chapters, the entire syllabus which is applicable for us, into 3 categories. Top priority, which is the most important chapters, which contains the most important chapters which every student must prepare thoroughly with all the chapters which are falling in the top priority. So in the top priority, you should not be looking for any choices. The top priority things you have to cover very thoroughly. Then I have given next priority. So after once you are done with the top priority, next which areas to focus, so that I have identified. And then whatever other chapters are there which are not falling under this category, those are all falling under others. Clear? So before I come to this prioritization of the chapters, I want to tell you one most important thing to you guys. Before you go for the examination, it is your responsibility to cover MTPs and RTPs. You must do it. I'm telling you, don't go for the examination without doing MTPs and RTPs. Why? Because even in the last attempt also we have seen not exact questions from the MTPs, RTPs, but somewhat related questions, very closely related questions which are given in MTPs, RTPs have been given once again in final examination. So that's why I'm telling you, it's my humble request to each and every student, you have to do MTPs, RTPs before you go for the examination. Sir, how many attempts? For current attempt, you have to mandatorily do it. For the September 2024 attempt, whatever MTPs, RTPs are released, definitely you have to go through it. Along with that, one more request from my side, whatever MTPs, RTPs are there for May 2024 attempt, which are released for the May 2024 attempt, these MTPs, RTPs also you cover them once. So definitely do this too. So 2 attempts, MTPs, RTPs, you do it. Trust me, you will come and thank me later for doing this. So this is something which you have to do. When you are doing it, it doesn't matter. Either start your preparation. Once you come back from the costing examination, better you start with solving MTPs, RTPs, or you plan it the next day, or you plan it for on the day of examination, that morning session. At that point of time, you can plan. Do whenever you want to do it, but don't go for the examination without covering MTPs and RTPs. My humble request to each and everybody, please, please, please do it. Clear? So this should never go out of your vision. So these 2 things these things you have to cover. MTPs, RTPs you have to compulsorily cover. So when you are going to cover, it's your choice. I would say do as early as possible. Why? Because if you postpone MTPs and RTPs to the end, might be because of some hurry, because of that tension for the examination, you might skip that part. So I will say do it as early as possible. Right. So once you are thorough with the MTPs and RTPs, now let us come to the top priority chapters. Sir, what are top priority chapters? See, these are the, when I say top priority chapters, these are chapters from which you can expect somewhere around 45 to 60% of the marks. 45 to 60%. Worst case scenarios I am telling. So 45 to 60% of the marks you can expect from this top priority chapters. I will say one thing, there is a chance if you ignore all the rest of the chapters, if you are thorough with these chapters which are falling in this top priority chapters, still you have a chance of clearing the auditing examination. Still you have a chance. So that important these chapters are going to be. Sir, what are the chapters which fall under top priority? So I will say first one, nature, objective and scope of audit. And also ethics and terms of engagement. In the study material, you will be able to find 2 chapters, but in my material, I have integrated both the chapters into one. So whatever it is, whether you follow study material, whether you follow my material, nature, objective and scope of audit, and ethics and terms of engagement, these 2 you cover it first. So I will say after you have come for the costing examination, after you are done with the costing examination, you come back and sit for the preparation. No, that night itself, you try to complete these 2 chapters. That night itself, you sit and complete these 2 chapters, nature, objective and scope of audit, and ethics and terms of engagement. But if you find my material, you will be able to find only one chapter in which I have clubbed both these chapters. So whatever may be the source you are following, these 2 chapters should be your top priority. Definitely huge weightage will be there from these 2 chapters put together. Definitely huge weightage is going to be there. Then coming to the next chapter. So once you are comfortably done with nature, objective and scope, ethics and the terms of engagement, then come to this chapter, audit reporting. You have to come to the chapter audit reporting. So here you take some time. In the audit reporting chapter, you spend some amount of time. Why? Because this chapter is a bit wide. So when I say audit reporting chapter, here also you try to cover all the content which is there in the auditing chapter, audit reporting chapter. So when I say all the content, what content we have in the audit reporting chapter? We have 700 series. We have what? 700 series. So 700, 701, 705, 706. So emphasis of matter, other matter, key audit matter, different types of modified opinion, contents of the auditor's report. So these are key areas from which the questions you can expect. Mainly different kinds of opinions, there you have to focus more. And especially in this chapter, you will also have reporting requirements under Companies Act 143 subsection 1, 143 subsection 3, and most importantly, CARO. From CARO, definitely there will be a question. Definitely from CARO, they will ask you one point regarding reporting requirements. So CARO, don't leave it. CARO, try to read each and every clause. Every clause, all the 21 clauses, whatever are there, definitely you have to read that 21 clauses before you go for the examination. I am telling you, one compulsory question will come from CARO. Once again, from the same chapter, you will be able to find essay 299, which will be talking about joint audit of the financial statements. Don't leave this standard also. Very simple standard. If you have already prepared for that standard, it will hardly take some 20 to 30 minutes to revise the content from essay 299, but compulsory question will come. Clear? So once you are done with nature, objective and scope, ethics and terms of engagement, the next chapter which you have to focus is audit reporting. So focus on audit reporting. So once you are done with that, audit documentation and evidence. So in this chapter, if you find in my material, you will be able to find 2 standards. One is essay 230, which is talking about audit documentation, and other one will be essay 500. So in that essay 230 also, there will be questions like what is audit documentation, what will be included in the documentation, and also what is audit completion memorandum. So like that, various concepts will be there. So try to cover that essay 230. Once again, a simple chapter. And audit evidence, when I say audit evidence, this audit evidence is also very important. What different kinds of audit procedures you perform, like risk assessment procedures, compliance procedures, substantive audit procedures, what are the different types of audit evidence, where you will get the evidence from, what are the audit methods to obtain audit evidence. 7 methods we have seen: inquiry, inspection, observation, recalculation, reperformance, analytical procedures. So like that, methods for obtaining audit evidence you have to see. And after that, you will be able to find, if you want to use the work of an expert, what factors you have to consider. So like that, audit evidence also will contain a lot of conceptual discussion. That area we have to cover. And once again, I'm telling you, from these chapter, audit documentation and evidence, there will be MCQs. There will be MCQs. Definitely from this chapter, there are going to be MCQs. Why? Because this concept involves a lot of conceptual discussion. So that's why once you are done with the audit reporting chapter, then pick up audit documentation and evidence. This chapter also should not take more than 1 to 1.5 hours for the purpose of revision. Understood, everybody? So 4 chapters. What is the order? Follow the same order. nature, objective and scope of audit, ethics and terms of engagement, audit reporting, audit documentation and evidence. Then you immediately go and pick up audit strategy planning program. Audit strategy plan and program, in which you will discuss, in which we actually discuss SA 300. Along with this chapter, you will also be able to find materiality also 320. SA 320 also will be there. You look at the recent MTPs, guys, how much weightage they have tested from the audit planning strategy and program chapter. Content is limited, but weightage is more. So this chapter is gaining a lot of importance in the recent examination. I'm observing the trend now in the recent attempts. They are putting a lot of focus on audit strategy, planning and program. But the thing here is, in this chapter, you will not be able to find any concept. A major concept will not be there. All the questions and answers are going to be like summary wise. All the answers will be like point wise questions. So when I say point-wise questions, the questions will be like, what factors you will consider while developing audit strategy? What are the benefits of audit strategy? What are the benefits of audit planning? What is audit program? What will be included in the audit program? So like that, point-wise questions will be there. So what I will ask you to do is, this a chapter, you try to prepare one quick summary. So at the time of reading only, you try to prepare one quick summary. All the key points you note it down. Like for factors which are required to be considered in establishing audit strategy, some 5 points will be there. So try to write that side headings of that 5 points. So try to prepare a summary of this chapter, audit strategy, planning and program. Keep that summary with you just before you go for the examination. Open that summary, just have a quick glance and then go and sit for the examination. Why? Because this chapter you tend to forget very easily. Because there is no much concept. No, see, if there is concept, we can remember it, but this chapter is not having any major concept, so all the answers will be point wise answers. So that is my suggestion. Prepare it well in advance. Like for example, on the day before audit examination, you prepare it. So in the morning session, might be you are planning for these 3 chapters in the morning session of the morning session on day before exam. So you complete audit reporting chapter, audit documentation and evidence, audit strategy, planning and program also, you read it. At that point of time only you read it. But my request is, write down the summary points, keep one piece of paper, write down the summary points. Just before you go for the examination, carry that paper with you and just have a look at the points and go to the examination. Don't carry that paper to the examination hall. Don't say that, sir, you have only asked us to write the points and keep it in the pocket. I kept that paper in my pocket and took it inside the examination hall also. Guys, don't do it. So write it, read it before you go for the examination, tear the paper, throw away and then go and sit in the examination hall. Okay. Right. So this chapter also you have to cover it, audit strategy, plan and program. Then come to the standards on audit. Then come to what? Standards on audit. So as you all are aware, standards on audit is going to be very important, both for MCQs as well as MCQs also will be very important. From significant weightage for MCQs also will come, theory questions also will come. Sir, which standards I have to cover? There are so many standards in my material. So which standards I have to cover? So which standards you have to cover is, these days the ICA is thinking little bit unexpected manner. The question papers are little bit unexpected manner. So earlier what they used to do is, they used to focus more theory questions on 500 series. But in the recent times, you could observe they have shifted the focus. They're concentrating more on 220 and SQC1, quality control. So these 2 standards are those standards which are mostly ignored by the students. They're ignoring this. Most of the students are taking these 2 standards as choice. ICA has got to know about it, and if you find it in the recent MTPs you see, recent examination you see, they are asking compulsory question from SA 220 and SQC1. Right? So please read that SA 220 SQC1. If you find trouble in understanding, what you can do, refer my marathon. I have explained the concept in a detailed manner. So refer my marathon. There is even summary notes as well. As you all are aware, for all the standards, I have developed one handwritten summary charts are there. So those handwritten summary charts are available in my website, also in my app. Please download it. Take the help of it. So take the help of it and read all the standards. And in that standards also, if I have picked a few important standards. See, basically all the standards are important, but some standards are there which are very complex. I will say SA 710. SA 710 standard is also important. From SA 710 also they will ask a question, but SA 710 is a little bit complex. So keeping the complexity in mind, I did not add it here. If at all a question comes, 4 marks of question will come. But the concept is very complex there. Most of the students will find difficulty in remembering the content of SA 710. See, this strategy I am building from the perspective of an average student. Clear? So that's why I did not add 710 in the list. If you are comfortable with the 710, read that 710 also. But most important standards which you have to cover are SA 220, SQC1, then 500 series. In the 500 series also 501, 505, 510, 580, 570. 501 talking about audit evidence special items, SA 505 external confirmation, 510 obtaining audit evidence regarding opening balances and accounting policies, 580 written representation, 570 going concern. And also 560 also will be there, but why I did not add 560 also in this list is once again depending on complexity. This standard is little bit complex, but comparatively these standards are easy and you will get more marks here. Clear? But anyhow, you are already comfortable with 710 and 560. Read that 710 and 560 also. If you are not that comfortable with these standards, keep them at the end. First try to cover these standards. Clear? Everybody able to understand? So this is what the next chapter, standards on auditing, you have to do. So this you do it. Then the next two most important chapters are audit of items of the financial statements, audit of various entities. These two chapters also most of the students will take it as a choice. These two chapters also most of the students will try to take them as a choice. I would say don't do it. You are taking a very big risk by taking these two chapters as a choice. Don't do it. So you should be preparing for these two chapters as well. I am telling you, from these two chapters put together 10 to 14 marks of weightage will be there. But most of the students will ignore it. You don't do that mistake. Try to read these two chapters also, but I will tell you the better time to read it. So when you plan for these two chapters is on the day of the examination, on the day of auditing examination. So afternoon you are going to have exam, right? The morning session will be free. So in the morning session, on the day of examination, in the morning session, read these two chapters. Don't read it on day before. On the day of examination, you read for these two chapters. Why I am telling you this, there is also logic behind it. Why? Because these two chapters also, as I have told, there is no much concept. Point wise lengthy questions will be there. If you read it early, you will forget it when you go for the examination. But if you read it as close as possible to the examination, as close as possible you read it to the examination, you will be able to remember that. So audit of items of the financial statements and audit of various entities. Like you are going to give your examination on 21st, right? So 21st day morning session will be there, no? In that morning session of the 21st, these two chapters you have to prepare compulsorily. So don't do it early, do it as late as possible, but don't leave it. Do it at the later part, but don't leave it. So these are the top priority chapters. So what are the top priority chapters? Once again, can you repeat for me? Nature, objective and scope of audit, ethics and terms of engagement, audit reporting, audit documentation and evidence, audit strategy planning and program, standards on auditing and especially these series of standards, audit of items of the financial statements and audit of various entities. Timing also I have told when you are required to prepare for them. Okay, next. Sir, first, an average student. Sir, for covering these things only my entire time is getting over. You don't have more time, then you can't do anything. But within the time available, you have to cover all this. But you are such a student who has done enough of level of preparation. You have already done one set of revision. Within a short span of time, you are able to complete all these top priority chapters along with MTPs and RTPs. Then what you should do, still you have time left. I think most of the people who would have done their preparation, reasonable level of preparation, they will be able to cover these chapters and they still will have some time left. In that time left, the next priority chapters, which are audit of banks and audit sampling. Try to cover these two chapters, audit of banks, audit sampling. And also I am observing one more thing in the recent times, guys. In the audit of banks chapter, they have started focusing less on audit procedures. They have started focusing more on NPA norms. They're more concentrating on what? NPA norms. When an overdraft facility will be treated as out of order, when loans and advances will be classified as NPAs, calculation of the drawing power. So they are concentrating less on audit procedures. These days they are asking the questions regarding calculation of the drawing power, regarding when a loan and advance will be classified as NPA. On NPA norms they are asking hell a lot of questions. That could be in the MCQs, that could be in the theory questions. So NPA norms are going to be damn important. So just open the NPA norms, or even if you can download the study material, just take up the study material, open the audit of banks chapter. First cover NPA norms. Once you have covered the NPA norms, then you will go through the audit procedures. So here also the focus is getting shifted. Earlier they used to test a lot of questions on audit procedures, but now they are testing a lot of question on NPA norms. Clear? So cover all that NPA norms, especially drawing power calculation. Try to do it. In MTPs also questions are there, so that also you do it. So become comfortable with that drawing power calculation and NPA norms. That is the main area which you have to focus. Then audit sampling. So compulsorily from the audit sampling, one question will be there, hardly some 4 marks of 4 marks you can expect from audit sampling chapter. So that chapter also you do it. These are next priority chapters. Now I will feel that generally 80% of the students will not have much time left after covering all this. 80% of the students will not have much of the time left after covering these many chapters in that 1.5 day of time. But you are such a student, you have even more time available. Sir, I have covered top priority chapters, I have covered the next priority chapters, still I have time left, sir. Still I have time left. Then what you should do? Then you have to come to other chapters. In the other chapters, what and all will come? Analytical procedures will come, risk assessment and internal controls will come. So these are all complex chapters which will come. Clear? So balance time, if you have that, you utilize it in other chapters. And especially if you are planning to read for risk assessment and internal control chapter, now most of the students will question me, and even audit in an automated environment, all these are falling under remaining chapters category. Most of the students will question me, sir, risk assessment and internal control chapter, why you have not included in the top priority chapter? I will tell you one simple logic. Risk assessment and internal control will take a lot of time. The same time, if you could spend here, you will be able to cover in that short span of time 3 chapters. The time whatever you require for preparing for this risk assessment and internal control, within the same time you can complete 3 things: audit documentation, audit strategy, planning and program, and standards. All these 3 things you can complete in the time which you spent for preparing for risk assessment and internal control. So very complex, but weightage is also not so great. Limited weightage will be there. So that's why I have kept risk assessment and internal control as a last priority. So in the risk assessment and internal control also, I will tell you few areas. If you don't want to take this entire chapter as a choice, some people will not be comfortable taking this chapter as a choice. So I will say few concepts at least. At the end, if you want to prepare, if at all you want to have a look at the risk assessment and internal control chapter, I will tell you few concepts which you have to thoroughly remember. If you are unable to do the entire chapter, at least try to do these chapters. If you are unable to do entire chapter, at least try to do these concepts which I am going to tell you now. Which concepts? What is audit risk and components? What is audit risk and what are components of audit risk? So that you have to cover. Along with that, what is included in the risk assessment procedures? Like it includes inquiries, it includes analytical procedures, it includes observation and inspection. So like that, one question will be there. What is included in the risk assessment procedures? That you do it. Then after that, meaning of internal controls, objectives of internal controls. After that, you do various techniques or methods for evaluation of internal control. Techniques or methods for evaluation of internal control, like flow chart, internal control questionnaire, checklist, narrative record. So that you do, that concept you do. After you have done that, you even try to understand limitations of internal control. Limitations of internal control. This concept also you do it. Then along with that, you do something called components of internal control. There will be 5 components of internal control. No, do that 5 components of internal control. So at least these concepts you try to do. If at all you are not comfortable in not revising the entire chapter, some people will have that fear. Sir, how can I leave the entire chapter? So if you are having that fear, at least try to do these concepts from the risk assessment and internal control chapter. But I am telling you, keep it at the last. If excess time is available, if don't do the risk assessment chapter without doing these things. After doing all these things, if you have time left and you don't have enough of time for covering entire chapter, you have only limited time, then what you do? At least try to do these concepts. Which concepts, guys? So audit risk and its components, risk assessment procedure, what is included, what is the meaning of internal control, limitations of internal control, methods or techniques for evaluation of internal control, and components of internal control. At least try to do these concepts. And remaining chapters we have like analytical procedures, audit in an automated environment. These are actually small chapters. If you have time, you do it. If you are not having enough of time, you can keep it aside. Clear, everybody? Able to understand? Clear? So I have studied all the recent things, MTPs and recent question papers I have studied, and on the basis of that I have evolved this strategy. So please try to follow these instructions and utilize your time in a wise manner. Be a wise man, don't be a fool, don't unnecessarily carried away by what other people are saying. So these days I am seeing a lot in the Telegram groups, in the WhatsApp groups, a lot of discussion is happening. At the same time, see, this is one place where you are having effective communication, but at the same time, this is a place where you are getting, where most of the students are getting confused also. Why most of the students are getting confused is, one student will say this question is having a chance of coming in the examination. Some another student will say some other question is having a chance of coming in the examination. See, these are all chances. These are all probabilities. Don't go away by probabilities. Please have one proper approach. So avoid the groups as much as possible in this 1.5 day of time. So have your own approach, believe in yourself, don't believe in others. See, the one mistake which we all do is what, we don't have belief in ourselves, we don't trust ourselves, we trust whatever others say. See, if the other person is an expert, if the other person is having well experience, like if a faculty is saying you something, okay, that is trustable to some extent. But any random student will say something, this chapter is important, this question is important. Now you start getting tensed. Are this person is telling this question will come in the examination, but I did not prepare for this. What if the question comes in the examination? The other person is also a student, guys. Like you, he's not an expert. So don't fall into this trap. Utilize your time wisely, and all the very best for your examination. And download all the resources. You will be able to find the charts. I will give the links in the description to the website and also to the app. In the app, you can download my resources. In the website, you can download the resources. So download all the charts and all. Take the help of the marathon. If any chapter you are unable to revise it quickly, so what you can do is simply you can go and watch the marathon, especially for risk assessment internal control chapter. If you don't want to open the book and read the content of risk assessment internal control chapter, watch my marathon. So take the help of the marathon, take the help of all the resources, and try to do your best. See, I always say one thing: the only thing which is in your control, is efforts. How the question paper will be, will it be difficult or not difficult, will it be very tough or it will be very easy. See, all these things are not in your control, so don't unnecessarily waste your time and energy on this. The only thing which is in our control is our time, our resources. Try to allocate it properly. Understood? So that's all from my side, guys. All the very best for your examination, and do your best. That's all. Bye everybody, take care.